Hello everyone, how are you doing? I'm doing great. And lately I've been thinking a lot about Light Yagami and Death Note. He and his counterpart Al are probably some of the most well-known characters in anime. Like many of you, Death Note was one of the first anime I watched back in the day. I'd say the anime that got me into the genre were Bleach, Death Note, and Eureka 7. Of course, I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, but at the time I didn't actually know what anime was. My older brother also had DVDs of Rurouni Kenshin, and I devoured those. But again, I didn't really click with what it was I was actually watching, if you know what I mean. By the way, did you see the announcement that they're doing a remake of Rurouni Kenshin? I can't wait to see an updated Kenshin. I really hope they don't ruin it. I really love that anime. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Like I said, I've been thinking about Light recently. I saw a tweet saying something about how Light Yagami didn't realize people committed crimes for reasons such as poverty or desperation. That's like something he discovers and has to learn. And then someone else says that this is one of the reasons they don't think Death Note is that great or deserves its reputation. And see, I disagree with this. Light is a villain protagonist. So even though we go through the series from his perspective, and if you're anything like me, you actually kind of root for him because it's fun. But Light Yagami is not a good person. He's not an Ichigo Kurosaki, or a Deku, or a Tanjiro. That is just so good and self-sacrificing. He is the opposite. He sacrifices other people in order to elevate himself and achieve his goals. He has no empathy and not that much life experience. Remember, he's in his senior year of high school when he finds the Death Note. And yet he believes that he is qualified to pass judgment over all of mankind. And I love it.
It'll be a new world, free of injustice and populated by people who I've judged to be honest, kind, and hardworking.
But if you did that, it would make you the only bad person left.
Huh? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm a hardworking honor student who's considered to be one of Japan's best and brightest.
I honestly believe that this makes for a more believable character. Light is smarter than his peers, smarter than most adults, handsome, popular, and comes from a stable home. His parents love him and his sister is sweet. He has never struggled for anything, and yet he paints all criminals with the same brush, judging them all as lesser and undeserving of life. He never puts himself in someone else's shoes, never imagines that many people don't have the advantages he was born with and so go down a bad path. Now, this is not me excusing all the criminals and murderers. Some of them are unredeemable and should spend the rest of their lives in prison, but the point I'm trying to make is that Light has no nuance. Everybody dies. And I think this is realistic. Let me tell you why. Firstly, I think Light is a sociopath, lacks empathy, and struggles to think outside of himself. And for my second point, I have to tell a little story. I went to university in South Africa during a time when there was a lot of protests regarding fee increases. At the time, a wealthy classmate of mine kind of looked around and said, "I don't understand. Why don't they just pay their fees?" This is the kind of person Light Yagami is. He has never stepped out of his bubble and has never considered that not everyone is in that bubble with him. So to me, Light is the epitome of a person who has everything and looks down at everyone who does not, because he can't understand why they don't just be like him. Well, more like him anyway. I don't think Light thinks anyone can be exactly like him. But they can try. And this is what makes his character so interesting to watch. He's so calculating and self-interested that he ruins the lives of everyone around him while creating his own image of godhood.
And I I will become the god of this new world.
What kind of teenager finds a book that kills people and, after a short struggle, declares himself the only person truly capable of fixing the world?
If I don't do it, then who will? That's just it, there's no one. But I can do it. In fact, I'm the only one who can.
And even after Ryuk informs Light that he has sacrificed his own soul by using the Death Note, I think part of him doesn't think he'll ever die. He believes that he's so intelligent, so smart, so crafty that he will just find a way around that. Every action he takes is so filled with drama because that is how he sees himself. The pen is his sword and he is slaying his foes and recreating the world in his own image, which is why he throws a tantrum when Al appears to thwart him and provide a real obstacle to achieving his goals. I think he liked it though. In the end, having an opponent at his level makes his victory that much sweeter and reinforces the self-important, self-righteous image he has of himself. He wears the mask of the friendly, polite, handsome, intelligent young man because that's what suits him best. This is exemplified in the scenes where he is attempting to get Ray Pember's widow to tell him her name, even though she knows that she shouldn't, that was one of the last things her husband told her before he died. Through the course of a conversation and a walk, he deconstructs her protections and gains her trust so he can kill her before she reveals information her very smart husband uncovered. In my opinion, it is in moments like this that Death Note really shines. These quiet moments that are a battle of wills and words. Manipulations, meticulous plannings, deception, these are the elements that make Light Yagami and Death Note so engaging. He is not a good person. He is self-centered, lacks empathy, and is willing to do anything to maintain his imagined godhood. We see this at the very end of the series when he drops his masks in a moment of imagined victory. In the end, I believe that his inability to put himself in another person's shoes is what leads to his defeat, because he thinks that his minions will follow his directions without taking into account their humanness, their individuality, their frailty. Ultimately, his death is rather pathetic. He is alone and in pain and running away. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I was happy like Lost. I mean, the rates of crime had dropped astronomically, right? The world was a safer place. But no mortal being is meant to have that kind of power, and killing all the bad people is perhaps not the best way to run the world. But I don't know. Maybe it is. Anyway, that's it for this video. I am Kayla. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff, and see you next time. Bye.